Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the northwest and northeast entrances of the stadium and welcome our candidates for graduation, the class of 2018.
Good morning, Cal Poly. Let's hear it for these graduates. Good morning and happy Father's Day to all of my fellow fathers out there. We'd like to begin with a stadium-wide welcome for the College of Architecture and Environmental Design. And let's welcome the College of Engineering. My name is Dr. Keith Humphrey, and it is my privilege as Cal Poly's Vice President for Student Affairs to preside over this morning's ceremony. In celebrating our students' achievements, we'd like to acknowledge the land we meet and walk upon today carries the heritage and culture of the native Chumash people of San Luis Obispo. Cal Poly honors and respects the diverse and indigenous peoples connected to this territory and respects the land on which we gather today in celebration. At this time, it is my pleasure to present Cal Poly's Wind Orchestra, led by conductor Christopher Woodruff. Soloist Catherine Curran from the College of Liberal Arts will be singing our national anthem. ROTC cadets of Cal Poly's Military Science Department will post the colors. Please rise and remain standing if you are able, and please remove your caps until the color guard has exited the field. Please post the colors.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. We have so many reasons to be Cal Poly proud this morning. As a university, we are conferring more than 4,800 degrees upon deserving scholars. That's worth a lot of applause. Each of our students has worked very hard, and our talented and dedicated faculty and staff have been there every step of the way, encouraging our students to success. As also with us today are the many parents, family members, friends, brothers, and sisters who had to put up with you when you were in elementary school and acted like you knew everything. Well, today is your day. You can celebrate because as a Cal Poly graduate, you indeed do know everything. As for tomorrow, let's just say there's a lot more learned by doing in your future. Graduates, from wow to now, okay, we'll try it again. From wow to now, we have all invested a great deal in your success. You are expected to enter the world poised to make a difference in your professions and through service to your communities. During your time in San Luis Obispo, you have improved this community. We are confident about the contributions you will make to improve the world around you, and as you leave us today as Mustangs united under love, empathy, and respect for others. In an effort to respect, honor, and celebrate each and every student's accomplishments, we ask that the entire stadium remain for the duration of the ceremony. Each degree conferred today deserves a proud and supportive crowd, and at the conclusion of the ceremony, graduates will receive a commemorative gift upon exiting the stadium. A few of you have prepared to serve in the most unselfish way of all. This weekend, we are graduating 11 students who will be commissioned as second lieutenants in the United States Army. We cannot thank you enough for your willingness to serve, and we are indebted to all who have served in the military. And at this time, I ask all active duty servicemen and women or veterans in the audience to please stand or wave your hand and be recognized for your service to our country. Thank you. Joining me on the stage this morning are members of the President's Party, led by President Jeffrey D. Armstrong. Honorees, special guests, and individuals invited to address the graduates will be introduced later in the program. Members of the President's Party with us today are Bob Linscheid, Trustee Emeritus, Bill Britton, Vice President for Information Technology and Chief Information Officer, Al Liddicoat, Vice Provost for Academic Affairs and Personnel, and Christopher Appel, Grand Marshal. At this time, please give a warm welcome to all members of the President's Party. Now it is my pleasure to introduce to you your student body president, Riley Nilsson. Yeah, she deserves some applause. It is rare that someone serves as a student body officer for 2 consecutive years, but Riley Nilsson is not your average Mustang. Hailing from a multi-generational Cal Poly family, Cal Poly pride is part of Riley's DNA. Just mentioning Cal Poly around her, and her face lights up. Throughout the highs and lows of the year, she has always remained focused on what is best for Cal Poly in both the short and long term. Riley has brought wisdom to decisions to campus that far exceed her 23 years, and while she came to Cal Poly to learn, she has also been a great teacher to so many. I can say that I have personally learned a great deal from Riley through laughter, tears, disagreement, and celebration. So let's learn from Riley as she speaks to you as your student body president for the very last time. Please welcome Riley Nilsson.
Good morning, Cal Poly. How are we doing? Woo! We're graduates. Today, I am so honored to welcome the College of Engineering. I really expected a lot more from engineering. The College of Engineering? There we go, okay. And the College of Architecture and Environmental Design? Woo! They were so much louder, and you guys are like twice the size. Oh my gosh. And I'm also excited to welcome all of these master students in the fronts. Congratulations. Like all of you, I started Cal Poly as a driven, ambitious student who was really, really into Nickelback. I cannot believe how much we have grown together, learned some pretty tough lessons together, and whether we know one another personally or not, become Mustangs together. Today, I want to share 3 things that I have learned that hopefully you can relate to as fellow Mustangs. Number 1, never take a bull sweat without knowing that someone has a stick of gum in the bar. If you don't know what a bull sweat is, well, it's actually the most disgusting thing you will probably ever consume, so I'm not gonna describe it in detail. But this may seem like a trivial life lesson, but what I'm really trying to say is never take yourself so seriously that you forget to have fun. In college, we have this mentality that we can do anything, and so we do. Like jump on a roof until it collapses. Or go downtown on a Tuesday because we get $2 off of beer, so why not? Or eat appetizers for dinner. I mean, show of hands, who used the words "send it" this past quarter because you thought that it was the last time you would do something ever? Well, hopefully it's not, and hopefully you never take yourself so seriously you lose who you are in your core, no matter what age, what position you hold, or who you are trying to impress. Okay, number 2, never forget to say thank you. For us to arrive here today has been a combination of more efforts than just our own. We are grateful for the faculty and staff who have invested time and energy into our successes. But most importantly, I want to take a moment to say thank you to our biggest supporters and sponsors, our families. To all of the parents, grandparents, and family members in the stadium, although we don't say it enough, thank you for being our #1 fan. We would not be the people we are today without your love, your encouragement, and your emergency direct deposit in week 9 when we spend all of our money on Taco Bell and potato water. While support from our families may take many shapes and forms, know that your role in our life was exactly what it was supposed to be. And we thank you for everything you have done for us, no matter how big or how small. Let's give our families a round of applause. Okay, final one, number 3. Your voice matters. This past year in my role as ASI president, I set out on a platform. Little did I know that this year would have 2 fee increase proposals, a significantly heightened campus climate, and fires, floods, and shootings across our country that impacted many of our Mustangs' lives back home. But what I learned is regardless of all of these things that feel so out of our control, how much being present truly matters. I have seen activism take many shapes and forms this past year, not just in marches or sit-ins, but also in meetings called for by students with their deans, alumni, or administration, letters, resolutions, statements, and even simple posts on social media. I saw how students called for more accessibility to SAFER and support for the cross-cultural centers. They worked alongside, not in opposition, to the people who could put their needs in motion. And as a result, 6 students unanimously voted to fund those initiatives that benefited the student body through the Student Success Fee Allocation Committee. Additionally, in April, there were over 20 letters of solidarity submitted by organizations across campus calling for a safer and more inclusive Cal Poly. These letters came from groups across campus, some directly impacted by hurtful actions, and others that simply chose to speak out and stand up against hate because it's just the right thing to do. Your voice matters. All too often, we are timid to speak up because we are the youngest in the room, or we have the least experience. But y'all are badasses. Sure, we don't know it all, but own what you do know and ask about what you don't. Let me ask you this. Raise your hand if you have ever voted in a college election. Oh, thank God. Okay. Thank you. Raise your hand if you are registered to vote and voted in the most recent primary election. Awesome. Shout out to each of you who threw your hand in the air because your vote, your voice makes a difference. If you don't like something, do something about it. Don't underestimate yourself because I can give you example after example of how when some of you finally chose to stand up for what you believe in, some serious things started to change. And I am so proud to be graduating alongside a group of graduates who are so very much needed in this world right now. Less than 30% of our country has had the privilege to be a part of higher education. Use your degree to make your industry or what you are passionate about better. There are greater things ahead, and they will be challenging, but I know that you have what it takes to go conquer the world. Thank you, Mustangs, for an incredible adventure. Ride high, and congratulations to the class of 2018. We did it!
Thank you, Riley, for your amazing year of leadership. Let's have one more round of applause for your student body president, Riley Nilsson. And now please welcome Dr. Dustin Stegner, Chair of Cal Poly's Academic Senate, who will speak to you on behalf of our outstanding faculty. Dr. Stegner.
On behalf of Cal Poly's Academic Senate and all of our faculty, I'm happy to welcome everyone who has come to celebrate all of the graduates' hard work and accomplishments. I would also like to say thank you to all the graduates' families, friends, and all those who have given them support throughout their lives and during their time at Cal Poly. Cal Poly students really do hit the ground running because of all the opportunities you have provided and sacrifices you have made before the student's first day on campus. In a little while, each graduate will be awarded a Cal Poly degree, but I think it is more correct to say that this degree is not simply given, but rather it is earned. Through your long days and nights of studying, ability to persevere through difficult courses, and commitment to following through on your academic ambitions and passions, you have reached the long sought after goal. And for that, you should be proud of all that you have achieved. I am certain that I speak for all of the faculty when I say that even though you are graduating, the faculty will continue to support you on all of your academic and professional endeavors. For in your future careers, whatever they may be, we see Cal Poly's commitment to academic excellence, to an educational philosophy and learn by doing, moving forward beyond campus and into the world. It is the faculty's fundamental hope that your successes at Cal Poly are just the beginning of a lifelong of learning and achievements. Many congratulations, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Stegner. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the president of Cal Poly, Dr. Jeffrey D. Armstrong.
Thank you, Dr. Humphrey. Congratulations to the College of Architecture and Environmental Design and the College of Engineering. You did it. Every year at these ceremonies, it's my honor and privilege to recognize various individuals and groups for their contributions to Cal Poly. Cal Poly's faculty is central to our educational mission. These individuals serve with outstanding qualifications and a deep dedication in teaching, research, and service. This year, the Distinguished Teaching Award Committee and the Distinguished Scholarship Award Committee of the Academic Senate selected 6 recipients to be recognized for their exceptional ability as educators. The Cal Poly Alumni Association, representing over 190,000 alumni nationwide, joins the Academic Senate in recognizing these distinguished educators and in celebrating the key role our faculty members play in preparing you for life ahead. One of the recipients of the Distinguished Teacher Award is Thomas Fowler Professor of Architecture in the College of Architecture and Environmental Design. One of our recipients of the Distinguished Scholarship Award is Professor Tawfik, Electrical Engineering in the College of Engineering. Let's give them another big round of applause. It is now my honor to confer an honorary degree on behalf of Cal Poly and the California State University. I would like to invite Trustee Lillian Kimball for the California State University to come forward to present an honorary degree.
Good morning and congratulations to you all. I would like to invite Edward Halpin to step forward to receive an honorary Doctor of Science. Ed has no shortage of degrees and honors already, having graduated with honors from the Naval Academy in 1983 and also being named an All-American Collegiate Boxer, earning a master's degree in strategic communication and leadership from Seton Hall University and a second master's degree in human development from Fielding Graduate University in 2010. He also earned a senior reactor operator certificate and is a graduate of the Institute of Nuclear Power Operations, INPO, Senior Nuclear Plant Manager course, and the Senior Nuclear Executive Seminar, an exclusive group, as I'm sure you can imagine. Ed worked at the South Texas Project Nuclear Operating Company for more than 2 decades, rising from startup engineer to become president and CEO. In 2012, he became one of our neighbors, joining PG&E as Senior Vice President for Generation and Chief Nuclear Officer. Ed was responsible for the operations of Diablo Canyon Power Plant, as well as the rest of PG&E's generating facilities in California until his retirement at the end of last year. Ed transformed the relationship between the power plant and the community. PG&E has always worked hard to be good neighbors, providing head of household jobs and paying property taxes that have helped the local schools in particular. Ed has worked to make sure that the scheduled closing of the plant in 2025 will be as easy as possible for the entire community. In addition to that important work, Ed has given generously of his time, serving on the Cal Poly's President Council of Advisors since 2015, and volunteering to teach leadership courses to our local community leaders. Ed, in recognition of your long and distinguished career and of your kindness in becoming part of the Cal Poly family of volunteers and advisors, it is my great pleasure to present you an honorary Doctor of Science.
So Edward Halpin, on the recommendation of the faculty of the California Polytechnic State University and by the authority vested in me by the trustees of the California State University, I am proud to confer upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Science with all attendant rights, responsibilities, and distinctions. Congratulations, Dr. Halpin.
Chancellor's Office and President Armstrong and the amazing leadership team of Cal Poly, thank you so much for this incredible honor. I'm deeply touched by it. It is so meaningful to me, and I sincerely appreciate being a part of this team and having worked with everyone. I really do. Graduates, that's got a good name to it, right? Graduates. Hey, look, you're stepping into a world that's pretty complex, but it's one that has great potential. In our world today, we have a scenario where we're connected technically. We have the ability to talk to each other, to talk about our lives, learn from each other, to build upon our diversity, to create a better world. And now more than ever, we feel disconnected. And why is that? Because we've grown to fear our differences. And so, what I would ask of you graduates is the world needs you to be a better person. They need you to be encouraging, caring, empathetic, kind, to reach out to others, to look for the shared mutual interest. And as a leader, if it's not there with somebody else, then have the courage to create that mutual interest. Please, be the better person, be encouraging. You know, in the Navy, we have a saying, when we depart from each other's presence, we wish each other fair winds and following seas. Now, what does that mean? It means when the waves and the wind and the ship are all going in the same direction, then the journey is going to be a beautiful one. And so to you, class of 2018, I wish you fair winds and following seas. I wish you great success. I wish you good health. And to all of you in the beautiful families that are here today, I wish you happiness in the years ahead. Go Mustangs.
Thank you, Dr. Halpin. Our keynote speaker this morning is Mr. Andy Jassy, CEO of Amazon Web Services. Now, you might think we invited him just because he is a successful executive at a major company, but that would not be right. To explain why, let me give you a brief story. A few years ago, our IT folks put together a list of all the repairs and upgrades that our systems and technology facilities on campus would need to be up-to-date, reliable, secure, and Cal Poly level of excellence. It was a long list, and it would have cost us tens of millions of dollars that we frankly didn't have. The decision was made to find a cloud vendor, one who would provide us with the computing power and the storage we need, but on machines owned by them and facilities off campus. But we didn't want any old vendor. We didn't want to be any old client. We wanted unique services, and we wanted a unique relationship, one that was learned by doing in both directions. We would become innovative like the vendor and learn by using the vendor's services. They would learn about education from how we use the services and what we ask for, and together we would figure out how to make the relationship work for everyone. We approached several cloud vendors with our crazy plan, and Amazon Web Services was the only one that said, we'll talk more. So a big group from Cal Poly met with a big group from AWS, and at first it wasn't clicking, we didn't get it. Then we met with Andy Jassy, and he got it. He saw how learn by doing in both directions was good for us and them. He saw how we could be more than consumers, and how they could be more than service providers. And so we started a mutually beneficial, cutting-edge, unique relationship that's been amazing from day one and is impacting students on a daily basis, as well as our wonderful faculty. So Andy Jassy isn't here this morning simply because he's had a long and successful career at one of the biggest and most innovative companies in the world, and also because he has a wealth of helpful insights and advice to offer our grads. He's also here because he's the one who got it when we were looking for a partner, and he's the kind of person who understands learn by doing. So graduates and guests and family, please join me in giving a warm Cal Poly welcome to Mr. Andy Jassy.
Thank you, President Armstrong. We love our partnership with Cal Poly, so thank you very much. I want to start by saying Happy Father's Day for all the dads out there who are celebrating the commencement of their kid. Congrats, and what a thrill it must be. I know in my case, I was blessed with an unbelievable dad who made a huge impact on my life and continues to do so today. I learned a lot of lessons from him that have served me well later in life. For as long as I could remember, My dad always told me that I could do anything I put my mind to. When I was really young, I blindly believed that. As I got to adolescence and to college, I started discounting what I thought was my biased dad trying to pump me up. But it was always a seed embedded in my brain. You'd be surprised how powerful the tapes are that play in the back of your brain. And I've always fundamentally believed I could accomplish virtually anything I really applied myself to do. To do something big or to achieve something you really want, you need to believe, you need to dream, and then you need to do something about that dream. I remember when I was about 12 years old, I was watching a soccer game with my brothers, and the field was surrounded by a running track. And I was restless and bothering my dad, and he was a little bit annoyed, and he said, "Why don't you go run a mile around the track and get some training in?" I used to play competitive soccer and tennis, so it wasn't a crazy request. So I ran a mile, but ran was probably a generous statement. I kind of trotted. And I got back to my dad, and I was very pleased with myself, and I said, "I did it, Dad." And he looked at me and frowned and said, "If you're going to run like that, why bother even running? Either do it well or don't do it at all." It was an innocuous comment that he doesn't remember making, but it always stuck with me. Whatever you all choose to do, don't half-ass it. You never satisfy anybody when you hedge or do something half-heartedly. And what I've learned over time is that while I'm achievement-oriented, like a lot of other folks, I can come to terms with losing or not accomplishing my goal if I leave it out there trying. The worst is to miss out on something you really want or that could be special and wonder what would have happened if you'd really put everything you had into it. I grew up in a family that questioned everything. You never got away with telling a story without being interrupted constantly with questions about the details of the decisions you made. We were constantly ranking everything: our favorite players on sports teams, our favorite teachers, our favorite participants in family gatherings. I even used to debate what the top colors of a traffic light were, which, by the way, everybody knows yellow is the worst because it's so stressful. And you had to defend your assessment while others explained to you why you weren't right. It was a little bit annoying at times, but what it did was it taught me to not just accept the status quo and the way things were. Now, this took me time to calibrate. Nobody loves a 22-year-old that questions everything, and I had to learn to pick my spots a little bit better. But I learned that this constant tendency to ask why was quite useful, both in driving my own learning and curiosity and in inventing. Good inventors are always looking objectively at a customer experience and asking, why can't it be better? They're always asking why the stated limitations have to be. Why can't it be different, and how would we do that? I promise you that you'll be told many times in your life that you can't do something or that things have to be a certain way. And sometimes there are good reasons for that, and sometimes there aren't. But regardless, don't ever stop questioning. There is almost always a better way to do something, and inventing is critical in this world, and also a lot of fun. One of the most important things I would have told my 22-year-old self is that every time I presented an idea or spoke up in a meeting or submitted an assignment to my boss, it wasn't a pass-fail referendum on my competence. I used to put so much pressure on myself in every interaction I had at work, waste so much energy about it, and always wonder if this person or group of people thought I was an idiot. And in retrospect, it was a ton of wasted time. It is so much healthier to think of all these experiences as growth opportunities along the adventure you're on. They may not always go perfectly, but they're all experiences that will make you better and wiser. And any competent manager at work will know this about their young people. So if you impose this pressure on yourself, it's self-inflicted versus what's real. Over time, I had to teach myself to control what I could control. You can't control most outcomes of challenging endeavors, but what you can control is how hard you work, how carefully you prepare, whether you do what you said you'd do, whether you bring an optimistic can-do approach versus a cynical, pessimistic mindset, and whether you spend all your cycles on something that adds value versus energy depleting antics. One of the biggest surprises to me in my professional life, and in retrospect, probably fairly obvious, is that about 60% of what's involved in being successful in whatever you do is about your own attitude. That's so controllable. If somebody told you you could pretty easily get 60% of the way to your goal by controlling what you can control, you'd take it, right? It's true. I'll share my last point by beginning with a short story about my first day at Amazon. I took my last final exam at graduate school the first Friday of May in 1997 and started at Amazon the following Monday. The plan was to work for 3 weeks, go back to Boston to walk through commencement, drive cross-country to Seattle with my then fiancée, now wife, Ilana, and then start again at Amazon. I came out to Seattle for those first 3 weeks and was charged, among other things, with finding the apartment that we live in. I picked what I thought was a pretty sweet place, a mother-in-law apartment with a killer view of Lake Union. When Ilana and I arrived at the new digs after our cross-country trip, Ilana walked in and started to quietly weep. I realized I'd learned another lesson that all the fellows graduating here should heed. Do not accept the assignment of finding the place for you and your significant other to live in. It is a no-win proposition. Anyway, we spent the evening trying to make it more palatable, went to sleep late, and I woke up early to go to work. As I started to leave the apartment, I saw these 2 huge dogs whipping around the side of our front door that belonged to the landlord. I tentatively followed them out the door, got to work, sat down in the office I'd worked in those first 3 weeks, and started to get caught up. I didn't remember the office being that small, and I definitely didn't remember it smelling that bad. I looked around, I tried to figure out what it could be, and I couldn't, so I just carried on. About 30 minutes later, my boss rolled in, and she just started barking out orders for me to do various things. And as I furiously wrote notes, she stopped midstream and said, "What is that, dog crap?" I knew the second she said it that that was the smell that I had detected, and that it must have been those dogs that I saw earlier, and it must have been on my shoes. I immediately responded, "Nope," and then picked up what I thought might be the offending shoes slightly off the ground. My boss just shrugged and kept on. And after a few minutes, as my foot was starting to fall asleep, I asked her if I could go to the restroom and come back and see her in a sec. I went to the restroom, and sure enough, there was a huge slab of dog poop on my shoe. After wiping it off, I popped by my boss's office and knocked on the door. She looked up and she said, "Dog crap?" And I said, "Yep." And she looked at me as if to say what my 14-year-old son Jack often says to me when I'm missing something he's already mastered, which is that look that says, "You'll get there." That was my first real day at work. And this was one of many cases of Amazon deciding it would be patient with me. In that same year, 1997, there was an album that came out by an artist I like named Ilana Davis. And in one of her songs called Turtle, she writes, "With a shorter past, there's a greater hurry." She could have easily been writing about me in 1997. I was in such a hurry to be successful, to get promoted, to have a lot of responsibility, to be respected, to manage people, to just matter. I used to waste energy feeling unrecognized and underappreciated and underleveled, and it didn't help anything or anybody. It was just wasted energy. Early on in my tenure at Amazon, I was asked to analyze whether Amazon should get into the music business before the brand cemented as a books-only brand. I spent a few months researching this and building a business plan, and the senior leadership team agreed we should build a music business. The head of our category management team told me I could lead it, and a few months out of graduate school, I couldn't believe my luck. I was so excited. Then, a couple of weeks later, this category management leader called me into his office and told me he'd changed his mind, and that somebody more experienced, the dog crap caller, my old boss, was going to lead it. I was crushed. I was so disappointed. I thought it was BS. I thought I'd been screwed, and I thought about quitting. But I didn't. I went back to my prior gig, built out that team, started learning how to manage, and realized a couple of years later that it had been the right decision. I wasn't ready, even though my desire told me I was. When I was leading the effort to explore and start AWS, our cloud computing business, it took us 2.5 years to define and build any of the products. There were many moments along the way where various folks on the team, including myself, wondered if we were out of our minds trying to build what we were, if anybody would use it, or were we just working around the clock in futility? There were lots of times I wondered whether I should flee while I still had time to save face. But something in the back of my head convinced me to hang in there. It seemed clear that the way companies and developers were being forced to build and pay for technology infrastructure was suboptimal for them. I couldn't control whether customers would respond to this new model, but I could try to control my energy and my attitude and my optimism and my work ethic. And the tape in the back of my head kept telling me, if we're going to try this new business, we should either pursue it unequivocally and all out or not at all. Patience, grit, perseverance, and willingness to fail as long as you give it everything you've got. These might be the most important attributes that all of you control, even at 22 years old, to bring with you to the next stage of your life. I think a lot of what I've said today you already know and have probably been taught. But to matter, you have to believe them. As you embark on the next chapter of your life, a lot will seem new and uncertain, and you should realize that it's new and uncertain for everybody. And that's okay. It's part of the journey and the adventure. Almost anything worthwhile doesn't come easy and has some struggle associated with it. But don't let that fear or uneasiness overwhelm the pieces you can control. You can always dream. You can always believe in yourself. You can always work hard. You can always bring the right attitude to bear. You can always show grit and resilience. And you can always keep learning. It won't be smooth sailing every step of the way, but if you store the right tapes in your brain, they will help you hang in there long enough to pursue whatever you decide to go after without feeling like you left anything on the table. Congratulations, class of 2018, and I wish you happiness and the best of luck in whatever you pursue. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jassy, for sharing that story. And I just want to say I love my Prime membership so much. You do too. Many of the proud supporters in the audience today have a familiar and exceptional sense of pride at this moment. Today marks an extraordinary day for the families of Cal Poly graduates who have chosen to continue their Mustang legacy. Many of you in the audience are Cal Poly proud alumni, and you may remember with vivid clarity the sense of pride and excitement you felt when you graduated from Cal Poly. So at this time, I would like to welcome anyone in the audience, the proud families, supporters, friends, parents, partners, or spouses who are Cal Poly proud alumni. Please stand and wave and be recognized. Welcome home. Welcome home. You are always part of the Mustang family wherever you go. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce Ellen Cahoon, Assistant Vice President for Alumni Outreach, who will welcome our graduating class into the community of Cal Poly alumni.
Thank you, Dr. Humphrey. I'd like to start my remarks this morning with a question for the graduates. Are you feeling Cal Poly proud today? Yeah, well, I am too. I can understand your feeling because as a fellow alumna myself who sat actually on this very field 30 years ago today, I must welcome you to the 190,000 strong family of Cal Poly proud alumni. It's also my great privilege to give you your first gift on behalf of the Alumni Association. So if you'll join me in a special ceremony as part of today's day and reach in the bag under your chair and grab the small Cal Poly Proud pin. And please stand, give you a chance to stretch your legs a bit. and we're going to lead you in a ceremony. I'm going to call Mr. Jassy back up to the podium, please. Fellow graduates, now that you're alumni, please pin your fellow alumnus standing next to you, and remember that from this day forward, you will always represent Cal Poly. We are all Mustangs forever. So I want to bid you congratulations, and remember, this will always be your home. So come home often, take care of one another, and stay Cal Poly proud. Congratulations. If you'll please continue to stand while the orchestra performs for us our alma mater, which can be found on page 6 of your programs. Thank you.
Green and gold, may your praises e'er be told, of friendship and of courage and stalwart ones of old. Hail, green and gold, in your name we shall prevail. So to California Polytechnic,
You may be seated. Okay, graduates, it's that time. It is time to confer degrees on our graduating class of 2018. Let's hear it for them. To preside over the conferral of degrees, please welcome Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost, Dr. Kathleen N. Svinken.
Good morning, everyone. Congratulations, graduates. I'd now like to recognize the recipients of the Academic Excellence Award from the College of Architecture and Environmental Design and the College of Engineering. The Academic Excellence Award is determined in consultation with the faculty and is based on the students' outstanding academic performance, contributions to the college and university, and engagement in community service. With the following Academic Excellence awardees, please stand and come forward to be recognized. Xiaoyan Ji, Academic Excellence Awardee from the College of Architecture and Environmental Design. And Alex Boyd, Academic Excellence Awardee from the College of Engineering. Graduates, congratulations on your outstanding achievement. At this time, we'd like to present a posthumous degree, from the College of Architecture and Environmental Design. This is a posthumous degree for Kennedy Love. This degree is being presented to Alfred Love and Dee Dee Love on behalf of their son, Kennedy, to celebrate his life, work, and memory. Kennedy was a amazing member of our community, and he is sorely missed. It's now time to recognize our master's degree candidates. Graduates, please let me share the significance of the master's hood that adorns your regalia. The origins of the commencement regalia date back to the 12th and 13th centuries when universities were first being formed. The hood was originally worn for warmth in cold medieval buildings, and this may actually be the first time that it's of use in California. So. The specific lining color represents the discipline that you have now mastered. Wear your hood with pride. It connects you with the earliest traditions of higher education and connotes your scholarly and professional achievements. I'm now pleased to present Richard Savage, Dean of Graduate Education, who will present the master's degree candidates.
Good morning. This year, over 500 students will be earning a master's degree here at Cal Poly. You have explored your given field of study to a deeper level and achieved a goal that only 9% of adult Americans have earned, a master's degree. We are proud that you chose Cal Poly for your post-baccalaureate studies. Remember, dream big, never give up, and now go out and make a difference in the world. Master's degree candidates of the College of Architecture and Environmental Design and the College of Engineering, please stand and be recognized. Faculty who have supported you from the College of Architecture and Environmental Design and the College of Engineering, please stand. President Armstrong, on behalf of the faculty involved with our graduate programs, I am honored to present these master's degree candidates.
Master's candidates, on the recommendation of the faculty of California Polytechnic State University and by the authority vested in me by the trustees of the California State University, I now confer upon each of you the master's degree appropriate to your program with all attendant rights, responsibilities, and distinctions. Congratulations.
Graduate students and faculty, you may be seated.
Congratulations, master's degree candidates. It's now time to present our bachelor's degree candidates. I present to you the Dean of the College of Architecture and Environmental Design, Christine Theodoropoulos.
On behalf of the faculty and staff of the College of Architecture and Environmental Design, I congratulate our new graduates. Our mission has been to give you the ability to advance the quality and value of the built environment. As Cal Poly graduates, you will transform communities with your creative inspiration, intellectual curiosity, critical thinking, broad inquiry, empathy, and compassion. You will plan cities and regions, design landscapes and architecture, engineer building systems, and manage their construction. And through this work, you will be inventors, artists, analysts, interpreters, collaborators, advocates, entrepreneurs, and leaders. Each one of you has had a tremendous impact on our college. We will miss you. Keep in touch. We look forward to your future accomplishments. Faculty from the College of Architecture and Environmental Design, please stand and remain standing. Bachelor's degree candidates, now it is your turn. Please stand and remain standing. President Armstrong, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Architecture and Environmental Design, I am honored to present these candidates.
Bachelor's degree candidates, on the recommendation of the faculty of the College of Architecture and Environmental Design, and by the authority vested in me by the trustees of the California State University, I now confer upon each of you the bachelor's degree appropriate to your program with all attendant rights, responsibilities, and distinctions. Congratulations!
Graduates and faculty, you may now be seated.
I'd now like to introduce Interim Dean of the College of Engineering, James Maher.
Graduates, I welcome you to the profession of engineering. Our mission has been to prepare you for careers as day one ready professionals, ready to meet the challenges of the 21st century. As engineers, you are going to shape our future. You will serve humanity by growing new economies, developing technologies, and designing sustainable systems. As graduating students of Cal Poly know this, you've already helped improve our community just by being here. As you prepare to leave, I ask that you work to create a better tomorrow and represent Cal Poly with professionalism, dignity, and innovation. Faculty from the College of Engineering, please stand and be recognized. Bachelor's degrees candidates from the College of Engineering, please stand and remain standing. President Armstrong, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Engineering, I am honored to present these candidates for graduation.
Bachelor's degree candidates, on the recommendation of the faculty of the College of Engineering and by the authority vested in me by the trustees of the California State University, I now confer upon each of you the bachelor's degree appropriate to your program with all attendant rights, responsibilities, and distinctions. Congratulations!
Graduates and faculty, you may now be seated.
Well, you did it. Congratulations, graduates. Not only are you the holder of your appropriate degree, but you are receiving this degree from Cal Poly and from the programs represented here today that are not just top in the U.S., but top in the world. Congratulations to you and our faculty and staff for making that happen. Give yourselves one more round of applause. So we have 3 more things to do this morning. A few comments from me, something very important that you need to do that symbolizes that you're a graduate of Cal Poly, and then you each walk across the stage. Do you remember that first day on campus? I ran into some of you when you were looking for that residence hall or being that transfer student. Do you remember seeing that dorm room for the first time? Think back. Remember that WOW group walking around as a WOWie? Do you remember when that person and you said, did we just become best friends? Do you remember that? Friends for life? And as Vice President Humphrey said, can you imagine from wow to now? Well, graduates, as you know, and you look around, this is not a journey that you've taken alone. We must recognize the faculty and staff who have worked hard to teach you, to feed you, to support you, and to inspire you. They've dedicated their professional lives to your success. Will our faculty and staff in attendance please stand if you can or wave? And graduates, let's give them a resounding round of applause and gratitude. Thank you. We appreciate you. We also need to recognize your strongest supporters, the people who have given you boundless love, encouragement, and yes, financial support as you move out into the world. And they all emphasize move out into the world, right, families? Will all of the parents, grandparents, siblings, spouses, partners, and other family supporters please stand if you can or wave? These are the ones that have supported you. Today is their day as well. Give them a big round of applause. Thank you, family and supporters. Thank you. Please be seated. There's also another group that has supported you, many here today, but throughout our state, and that is the taxpayers of California. Over the years, there have been over $1 billion or billions of dollars put into Cal Poly. Because of that support, many of you are here today and can achieve what we've heard only 30% of people are able to do. So I ask of you two big things in return for that tremendous support. First, go out and get amazing jobs, professional school, graduate school, and pay those California taxes. I am serious. Also, think about paying it forward and giving back to the institutions, to the people that have supported you. Pay it forward, and that also means Cal Poly. Second, in the short term and in the long run, encourage those in the legislature to support the CSU. Many of the people who stood up earlier today, alumni of Cal Poly, paid much less because there used to be a lot more support. There are many, many things that deserve public support, but you have a special reason to know the worth of a CSU, a Cal Poly degree. Now, I'd like to take you on a bit of a journey. I don't like to admit it too often in public, but I'm really into the sci-fi, Star Wars, Star Trek. I'm like, first night, I got to go see it. One of my favorite movies growing up was by H.G. Wells. The first version you would never have seen. Your parents might have seen it. It was The Time Machine. It scared me, but it was amazing. But luckily, there's been a remake. There's a scene in the movie where the hero's sitting in the time machine and thousands of years are going by. So today I want you to think about it. We're in the time machine. We're going to do a similar movie of Cal Poly graduations. So let's start with we're going to end with 2106, which will be our 200th, but not our last, and we'll start at 1906. And we're going to speed this up, so this won't be a long speech. So first thing you're going to note is the students remain ever young. The faculty and the staff, however, get grayer, a little rounder, and then they're replaced by scholars with better clothes and haircuts, right? The setting evolves with newer technology on display, people still taking selfies, updated buildings in the background, passing fads, and the band still playing furiously. Let's give our students and faculty a great round of applause. Now, you also look closely, you'll see some faces returning in new roles as graduates become parents of graduates, and some return as faculty or members of the staff. You'll also notice some changes in numbers. In 1906, there were 8 graduating students. So that number went up steadily until it dipped with both world wars. Today and yesterday, we're sending out 4,800 graduates. Isn't that amazing? You'll also notice some other things. If you look at that first class of 8, you'll see that half of that first class is women. But as you speed along, from 1930 until 1956, they disappear. A senseless discrimination that began by law, and it was continued by prejudice. Women came back, slowly but surely, and only in the last 10 years have women been appearing at the proportion of the population of California. Today, we're about 50% like California, and our engineering programs have a higher than national average percentage of women. I think that's worth a round of applause. But let's look again. In the early years, the students were all white. Over time, there were a few faces that reflected Asian or Hispanic ancestry, or students that were Native American, Pacific Islander, or several ancestries. It wasn't until the 70s that we started seeing underrepresented minority groups in our fast-moving movie. Those numbers in the student body that they represent increased steadily, but yet by today, we do not reflect the rest of California. So now let's move forward. The students continue to change. The student body becomes more and more diverse. There are students of all colors. There are men and women and people whose gender is fluid or can't easily be read just by looking. In the stands, there are families with a mom and a dad, or with 2 moms or 2 dads. And by the way, happy Father's Day to everyone. There are rainbow flags representing our LGBTQ grads, faculty, and staff, and rainbow infinity signs representing autistic and other neurodiverse members of the community. But in the future, students will still have these really cool mortarboards, but then they'll represent every kind of identity, religion, ideology, and experience. These changes will be visible as this movie moves by with the families and everyone in the stand. I firmly expect, and I sincerely hope, that it will be me in a few years in this movie when we will be representative of California, every beautiful facet of diversity of our state. And we have some work to do, but that's where we're going. Now, before I close, there's also some things about Cal Poly that won't change. 88 years from now, in 2106, our focus will still be on student success, on excellence, and on being the premier polytechnic, the premier comprehensive polytechnic university in the United States. And just as you can say today, students in the future will know that their degree will appreciate with time, which is powerful and important. Students will still be practicing learn by doing with our labs, our fields, and everything else. We'll be a vibrant residential campus with strong ties to our local, state, national, and international communities. And the students will still be young and wonderful and poised on the edge of their seats to wait for this speech to end. And it just did. Congratulations, graduates. Well, now it's time for a big moment. I would like for the class of 2018, if you're able to please rise, please stand. What I'm going to ask you to do next signifies that you're now a member of 190,000 Cal Poly alumni, that you are a graduate and forever a member of the Cal Poly family. Would you please move the tassel on your mortarboard from the right to the left? Family members, friends, faculty, and staff, On behalf of Cal Poly, I present to you the class of 2018. Congratulations!
All right, graduates from Architecture and Environmental Design and Engineering, it is now your turn to walk the stage and receive recognition for your well-earned degrees. As a reminder to graduates and guests, we ask that you stay seated in the stadium for the duration of your ceremony as we give each graduating student the full support and recognition they deserve. Graduates, please remain at your seats until your row is escorted to the stage. Faculty from the College of Architecture and Environmental Design and the College of Engineering, please proceed to the outside perimeter of the graduate seating area to congratulate our graduates as they exit the stage. Graduates, please return promptly to your seat after your name has been read.
Swarnjeet Boyle. Sanan Umar Ali. Andreas Appitz.
Kylie Nicole Hensley.
Greg Orkoff.
Jacqueline Nishla Maria Mansour.
David Gillespie.
James Francis.
Justin Matthew Keel.
Sridevi Vaidyanathan.
Christopher Girdham.
Justine Nevis.
Noah Wheats.
Jenny Locktown Newen.
Alex Bartlett.
Jessica May Edmondson.
Brady Aiello.
Kevin Yost.
Ani Venkatesh.
Christopher Ray Turner.
Kaylin Washington.
Sarush Hussein Avery Abutawali.
Andrew Goff.
David Allen Christie.
Jonathan Joseph Catano.
Kyle William Jordan.
Andrew Nelson.
Alyssa Way.
Andrew Tran.
Jacqueline Nicole Protzman.
Nicholas Plutong.
Tyler Heitkamp.
Jonathan Tan.
Emery Keskentepe.
Pearson Ye.
Joseph Stearns.
Joey Angita.
Dylan Snelling.
Duncan Lindberg.
Scott Lindquist.
Garrett Ahern.
Tommy Chong.
Kelly Cochran.
Michelle Junya Huang.
Evan Lowe.
Ashley Wong.
Andrew Case Lozavoy.
Willow Angeline Urquidi.
John Richard Stern.
Lauren Michelle Gall.
Liam Campbell.
Austin Ford.
Nathan Ryan Gerke.
Matthew Nicholas Fluman.
Dennis Palacio Torrejon.
Megan Christine Miller.
Caitlin Hope Howes.
Gabriel Douglas Ward.
Allison Brumbaugh.
Eric David Martinez.
Adam Evard.
Robert Charles Eder.
Harveer Humpal.
Samuel Hughes.
Mackenzie Barlow.
Hunter Kelly.
Samantha Schock.
Heather Kaylin McCoy.
Marissa Parasini.
Torina Nicole Wilson.
Tamiko Saldin.
Audrey Ogden.
Tanner Kwan.
Ana Padilla.
Christopher Tran.
Tim Salvato.
Allison Taylor Shambone.
Brendan Donovan.
Daniel Kenneth Johnson.
Adam Bloomer.
Oliver Cade Morrison.
Laura Dion.
Eric Woods.
Elizabeth Townsend.
Adam Fry.
Mark Lucy.
Megan Abutin.
Natalie Straight.
Christopher Michael Leclerc.
Jeffrey Bacom.
Ian Buchanan.
Siraj Reddy.
John Coyne.
Froylin Aguirre.
Joel Arakaki.
Betsy Serda.
Elizabeth Villanueva.
Simone Miller.
Esmeralda Diego.
Waylon Ing.
Frederick Johnson Tannis Jr.
Benny Lynn.
Neil Larson.
Katie Ulapwan.
Gregory Thomas Lane.
Olivia Del Bono.
Jordan Scarrow.
Brianna Bahar.
John Sakarik.
Yejin Lee.
Felix Heimerl.
Sophia Liu.
Kayla Brazelton.
Macy Luan.
Gabriella Sugarman.
David Callahan.
Matthew Thomas.
Tyler Armstrong.
Reese Gilmore.
Kevin Herhusky.
Julian Lozer.
Aaron Chin.
Jacob Michael Ludeman.
Corey Inotic.
Matthew David Atwell.
Haley Ray Rose.
Daniel Humberto Gonzalez.
Jacqueline Rock.
Eric Buck.
Olivia Francis Pepe Phelps.
Michael Miller.
Brooke Jacqueline Lipsy.
Kendall Cone.
Jarrett Berger.
Christian Fernandez.
Tatiana Wolfarth.
Arjang Derekshani.
Maxwell Snook.
Gabriel Lipoff.
Ricardo Gustafson.
Nathan Seffard.
Taylor Sanchez.
Megan Pottinger.
Kyle Chase.
Julian Doe.
Christopher Barridge.
Daniel Gerard.
Jerry Luong.
Joel Siana.
Avery Kwong.
Luke Horowitz.
Tommy Sidebottom.
Brian Famera.
Kevin Theodore Q.
Nick Tran.
AJ Tesveren Johnson.
Michael James Torkelson.
Caleb Pono Masaru Azevedo.
Rebecca Marie Kendall.
Kenneth Lee.
Kevin Patel.
Jamin Chen.
David Matthew Galvez.
Sarah Pasquale.
James Kermath.
Anna Gray Gupta.
Moira Foster.
David Martyr.
Jacob Graff.
Jonathan G. Hernandez.
Tyler Dahl.
Jessica Magana.
Sarah Michelle Della Ripa.
J.V. Martyr.
Jesse Morales.
Stephen Denny.
Varia Glotova.
David Friend.
Kate Elizabeth Fishcorn.
Adam Siana.
Dominique Henry Porcenja.
Aria Gurchian.
Aditya Boudoir.
Eric Baeza.
Pankti Gandhi.
Alyssa Parr.
Dinesh Radhakrishnan.
John Kim.
Jainesh Zaveri.
Daniel Hahn.
Eugenio Ariel Montoya.
Austin Kahn.
Bradford Norman Applin.
Sean Chris Lee.
Matthew Ing.
Lucy Donaldson.
Eugene Kropp.
Brooke Skelton.
Olivia Wright.
Jackson Pedrick.
Jalen Mono.
Garrett Parkinson.
Greg Pellegrino.
Sydney Rose Galleon.
Mitchell Wilhelmsen.
Rachel Garcia Chandler.
Alyssa Leventis.
Michael Lawrence Blanchard.
Derek Chung.
Erica Croft.
Alec Makowski.
James Blanchard.
Wesley Graham Powell.
Brent Joseph Zavada.
Arshan Hashemi.
Joshua Heath.
Matthew Bailey.
Zachary Kemp Richardson.
Brady Shutt.
Samuel Lyndon Markham.
Kyle Rosenthal.
Gerhard Carl Christopher Hobach.
Pradeep Sangli.
Jock Spinner.
Jackson Darrow.
Adam Will.
Alexander Lopez.
Keenan Brecky.
Mariko Bell Liwag.
Jimmy Fuel.
Joshua Gustav Brinkman.
Norris Lee Cooper III.
Riley Harden.
Joe Granger.
Wyatt Taylor.
Trey Riley Garcia.
Caleb Levitt.
David Acosta.
Thomas Connor Field.
Brian Spurgeon.
Gabrielle Denata.
Gideon Baum.
Isaac David Becker.
Andrew Horton.
Paul Michael Gillis.
Thomas Arismendi.
Alex Wormer.
Joseph O'Connor Lamphere.
Joshua Monsino.
Grant Bettisworth.
Ian Roy Johnson.
Richard Wynn.
Spencer Combs.
Jeremy Suryadi.
Bradley Hostetler.
Noel Medina.
Jamie Kennedy.
Jeffrey Robert Hammond Jr.
Abby Saibula.
Don Alex Faze.
Joseph DeCicero.
Trevor Nally.
Matthew Beutler.
Adam Long.
Anthony Ione.
Brittany Lerdahl.
Daniel Shavazensky.
Chad Richmond.
Jared Speck.
Cameron Perkins.
David Alexander.
Tristan Soltero.
Juan Villalobos.
Enzo Matucci.
Martin Perez Guzman.
Ian Thomas.
Daniel Grolla.
Jeffrey Punmonko.
Vincent Aguilar.
Tanner Furkovich.
Jose Guerrero.
Elliot James Payan.
Sergio Gutierrez.
Travis Tolstrup.
Sergio Vergara.
Jared Davis.
Ricardo Garay.
Lindsay McDonald.
Ariane Behes.
Jacob Stapp.
Kyle Kurashima.
Mario Gelati.
Alexander Power.
Alex Pokesay.
Glenn Lee.
Austin Changrass.
Catherine Mavramati.
Barrett Lowe.
Greg McClurg.
Matthew Robert Bramlett.
Aaron Feinstein.
Leor Rosen.
Victor Chacon.
Cody Flexig.
Connor Cady.
Robbie Wilcock.
Logan Simon.
Tyler Kirkpatrick.
Tristan Miller.
Griffin Shariki.
Derek Thomas Nola.
Devin Merker.
Jarrett William Core.
Isaac Maximov.
David Lennon.
Gio Mazzotti.
Chandler Reese Warren.
Jenna Apple.
Alexander Davis.
Ainsley Elizabeth Henderson.
Trevor Cole.
Chelsea Ann Trumbull.
Stephen DeSheznak.
Kristen Forster.
Logan McClure.
Austin Eberly.
Rama Adejan.
Dixie Bronek.
Zachary Luis Hanse.
Brooke Ashlyn DePorto.
Aaron McMurchie.
Jessica Annette Zappi.
Joshua Cinco.
Joseph Lofaso.
Matthew Fajardo.
Sarah De Los Reyes.
Nilma Edward.
Jordan Morovsky.
Francesca Izel Pernez.
William John Leonard.
Derek Robert Wright.
Carly Lynn Cunningham.
Richard Lee.
Kelly Williams.
Alvin Joseph Ha.
Jake Castillo.
Mark Manuel.
James Michael Matern.
Danielle Purdy.
Luke Matthew Ostrom.
Lauren Byrne.
Jordan Thrailkill.
Danielle Tran.
Ryan Michael Weir.
Elizabeth Rosa.
John Angelo Pezzini.
Brian Kong.
Sam Tenredo Tice.
CJ Connolly.
Erica Snyder.
Jose Jimenez Arambulo.
Dana Lake.
Alejandro Morales.
Amanda Stoller.
Robert Davidson Bellman.
Shoshana Herzog.
Spencer Solano.
Jordan Kaiser.
Kevin Valencia.
Isabeau Guglielmo.
Tom Geratana.
Rachel Penfold Ferry.
Jesse Mandel.
Salvador Alejandro Guevara.
Jackson Cole.
Janet Valenzuela.
Justin Smith.
Rocio Ramirez Castro.
Sarah Nimruzi.
Jesse Longchamps.
Kyle Joseph Zanzi.
Donald Wong.
Neil Wolf.
Linnea Lavarico.
Ransom Cutshall and guest.
Ashley Garber.
Cooper Steele Harrison.
Dustin Cole Sullivan.
Joseph Durand.
Andrew Lynn.
Benjamin Yee.
Brock Armstrong.
Lucas Madison.
Jordan Alves.
Juan Emmanuel Ramirez.
Victor Beglitsov.
Maximiliano Cortez.
Austin Stewart.
Jolani Chunmoy.
Michael Jed Anderson.
Tiffany Lamb.
Madeline Bernardino.
Daniel Choi.
Mikey Foley.
Ashton Damari.
Benjamin Jodis.
Jonathan Changlin.
Gabriel Zagorski.
Elise Munamura.
Matthew Stephen Montijo.
Arjun Gupta.
Zachary Anderson.
Larson Chang.
Nicholas Dennis.
Audrey Yi-Wen Chan.
Joshua Miller.
Michael William Murray.
Sarah Anita Lack.
Jordan Schaefer.
Paris Allen.
Paul Stephen Hazelbeck.
Amy Ruddy.
Alex Denba.
Alex Adams.
Wenmi He.
Emilio Lozano Jr.
Timothy Ryan Lee.
Barbie Elizabeth Aguilar.
Caleb Andrew Barber.
Jaime Diaz Castro.
Blaine Weeks.
Samari Mayo.
Bradley Patterson.
Ingrid Alamia.
Nishanth Dara.
Sonia Teresita Orozco Limas.
Cameron Michael Taylor.
Christopher Haig.
Hillary Lauren Schultz.
Kay Bromley.
Abby Jo Sholey.
Samantha Ellen Seams.
Christiana Diana Yushana.
Karina Reese Vestergaard.
Alexandra Marie Deeney.
Rachel Robinson.
Randall Flannery.
Ryan Stone.
Dylan Breitenbucher.
Madeline Robertson.
Catherine Peterson.
Manelli Mergerdician.
Nicholas Olsner.
Mia Fang Chun Lin.
Mark Tuzolin.
Joshua Barnaby.
Nick Eaton.
Yasmin Suleiman.
Thomas McGuire.
Nicholas Rademacher.
Jose Urizar.
Marhama Ayu Halim.
John Frederick Niemoller.
Daniela Gordillo.
Luik Corbiere.
Alan Liu.
Brandon Robert Newby.
Catherine Moore.
Sebastian Anau.
Carolina Donalkova.
Bert Eckroth.
Katie Miyoshi.
Rustin Shamlu.
Rachel Joy Rexsiedler.
Brian Charles Donny.
Juliet Nicole Luty.
David Bronner.
Marcus Simons.
Declan Mages.
Adam Newton.
Michael Rocky Murdoch.
Shay Menzel.
Sam Hall Watson.
Sophia Abshire.
Esgar Pulido Melendrez.
Calvin Roth.
Alex Nguyen.
John Peelan.
Charlie Kessiker.
Tia DeHarport.
Rebecca Lynn Barica Farr.
Emir Kuljancic.
Harold Hershey Hall III.
Stella Bates.
Zachary Hatton.
Chase Flemmer.
Alex Vetushko.
Alexander Lee Siegel.
Zachary Lilly.
Adrian Godia.
Natalie Lizama.
Michelle Triantafilides.
Melinda Kimberly Ong.
Alexa Schaefer.
Joseph Paul Delara.
Michael Ida.
Berkeley Davis.
Xiaoyin Shi.
Kevin Whalen.
Maggie Ma.
Melissa Woodard.
Nicholas Olty.
Tate Lee Hayes.
Stephanie Manson Hing.
Manasi Sant.
Rachel Lynn Ironman.
Kartik Vats.
Taylor Justine Silliman.
Austin McInnes.
Matthew Benjamin Madsen.
Stephen Christopher Schmidt.
Justin Edward Rapolis.
Kyle Patrick McCary.
Adrian Zoe.
Martinez Buvites.
Edgar Dylan Core.
Tyler Clem.
Matthew Ahern.
Alexander Brendan Castaneres.
Ben Clark.
Patrick Cragen.
Kaylee Johnson.
Jake Steinorth.
Jackson Bauer.
Sarah Lashenlu.
Anna Margarita Godoy.
Nimisha Patel.
Valentina Corallo.
Ashley Dutlow.
Caroline Fletcher.
Sarah McCoy Friesman.
Suki Kwan.
Andre Nikolai Argiles.
Amanda Bozine.
Trevor Sosbo.
Adriana Lilla.
Frank Graham Rolfe.
Eli Mayerson.
Grayson Wellesley Starr.
Almarine Kitchens.
Harrison Knox.
Connor Flora.
Carlos Hernandez Fattorini.
Hannah Mackay.
Kishore Baskar.
Carrie Northwood.
Alexander Chamberlain.
Brenton Carter.
Scott Henry Frisley.
Marta Blachowicz Scott.
Scott Cocker.
Armando Corrado.
Daniel Anderson.
Annalise Barbieri.
Brian Igana.
Daniel Mahfood.
Rahul Shah.
Andres Enriquez Larios.
Mary Kate Evans.
Sergio Sanchez.
Quavana Farkey.
Daniel Villarreal.
Jacob Whipple.
Carla Santos.
Jack Porter.
Jer Yang.
Spencer Schob.
Priscilla Wong.
Thomas McClelland.
Serena Zepeda.
Kevin Scott.
Arena Dallas Matapuga.
Dalen Deshankin Demku.
Veronica Franco.
Thomas Lloyd.
Mark Stewart.
John Francis D'Ambrosio.
Matt Goodwin.
Chase Edward Montague.
Stanley Lamb.
Will Thomasoff.
Corinne Moore.
Lawrence Howe.
Chloe Eitzer.
James Franklin Yang.
Vera Yeftayev.
Tyler Tianlu Yoon.
Mengdi Zhang.
Owen Genther.
Chloe Christelle Shaheen.
Kyle Brock.
Allison Lee.
Joseph Riccio.
Nestle Joyce Cavero.
William Young.
Amy Lim.
Nick Walker.
Sebastian Cardoza.
Anthony Joseph Velasquez.
Jamie Chafee.
Nathaniel Kai Peressa.
Annalie Heineman.
Caitlin Ray Adams.
Elias Armenta.
Kellen Field.
Tyler Reed.
Kirby Ransberger.
Camden Price.
Lindsay Stratus.
Tyler Varian Gonzalez.
Oren Klein.
Morgan McTye.
Anthony Granatelli.
Lindsay Kageyama.
Garrett George.
Kayla Young.
Joshua Oliver.
Shannon Hurley O'Hare.
Austin Spearling.
Ryan Wang.
Devin Kelly.
Amy Sublet.
Nick Cracchiolo.
Michael Joseph Pedroso de Pau.
Zachary James Monroe.
Robin Johnston.
Sarah Stevens.
Philip Harris.
Cassandra Danielle Beck.
Rodrigo Miguel Robles Gonzalez.
Nicholas Jones.
Eric Esquivel.
Liam Martinez.
Luke Schweibens.
Sabrina Marie Goff.
Christopher McCoy.
Lydia Catherine Hedge.
Melvin Fuentes.
Adam Menashe.
Nicholas Lee Davis.
Morgan Montalvo.
Aaron Omid Golob.
Ali Harake.
Mark Charles Whittock Jr.
Nathan Harry.
Ian Russell Larson.
Christopher Noon.
Shannon Marie Saliba.
Peter Katsarillos.
Sarah Sammy Nathan.
Zachary Coots.
Claire Fitzgerald Morris.
Spencer MP.
Luke Davies.
Brian Joseph Lavier.
Rowan McGuire.
Garrett Gabriel Chan.
Scott Lawrence Sibley.
Nathan Hong.
Jenna Andrews.
Japsinran Singh.
Mary Brown McGregor.
Derek Lung.
Theodore Felix.
Austin Hansen.
Connor Church.
Simon Crowder.
Jose Diaz.
Andrew Lamb.
Eli Parrott.
Aiden McCoy.
Joseph Dresser.
Ryan Westerman.
Ian Curtis.
Timothy Tan.
Gerald Abram Chichako Aldrich.
Laura Mountain Tuller.
David Jameson.
Veronica Valley.
Emilio Uranga III.
Gil Hetzroni.
Kimberly Renee Emin.
Charles Oleg Frandl.
Kim Mai Nguyen.
Jesse Montana Ford.
Anthony Ojeda.
Jaffer Sharif.
Juan Antonio Guadarrama Baz.
Nadir Fayazov.
Lucy Anna Simmons.
Andrew Spike Rudnick.
Johanna Mall.
Jordan Jackson Moy.
Stephanie Allison Smith.
Benjamin Mativier.
Alex Howard.
Shane Russell.
Richard Wei Chi Jung.
Evan Beneroff.
Eric Jiang.
Alex Zahn.
James Vogel.
Joseph Erdy.
Nicholas Brechtel.
Chris Colonnese.
Zachary Price.
Shane Elisha Walsh.
Diana Villanueva Herrera.
Spencer Andrew Harrison.
Jack Bergquist.
Benjamin Siantar.
Samuel Love.
Jeffrey Ploss.
Madeline Pritchard.
Aaron Taylor.
Hannah Chu.
Andrea Larson.
Sabrina Maleo.
Rachel Ann Sigurdsson.
Amy Gunn.
Jessica Worth.
Kenzie Rage.
James Berry.
Ileana Ortega.
Marshall Crow.
Marco Romagnoli.
Michelle Stovall.
Madeline Hunstein.
Barbara Perez.
Lindsay Klein.
Jack Hofstetter.
Emily Pilar Dunlap.
Kevin Holtberg.
Maria Plazenzia.
Derek Montez.
Callie Gone.
Noah Sadler.
Chloe Andrus.
Jarrett Holt.
Tyler Rohde.
Zachary Allen McKell.
Jonah Polks.
Robert Ross Reed.
Judith Evelyn Gonzalez.
Kurt Kelly Reed.
Irvin Andres Lazaro.
Madison Ash Lignell.
Luis David Delgado.
Stephen Goodale.
Hector Farias.
Jacob Reardon.
Andrew Heim.
Lincoln Trainer.
Kelly Rose Fitzgerald.
Mitch Aiken.
Sarah Mackenzie Waltz.
Jace Sasaki.
Davis Nix.
Matthew Callahan.
Sierra Nicole Regan.
Alexander Deckler.
Taryn Elizabeth Kelly.
Bryce Zander.
Michael Wolf.
Remy Lauren Quinn Smith.
Thomas Fenner.
Justine Kwan.
George Erie.
Andrew Steers.
James Cameron Losack.
Matthew Bryan.
Scott Robert Tucker.
Kevin Vas Diaz.
Rahul Sengupta.
Jared Garretts.
Peter Austin McLean.
Joey Vargas.
Sam Surrey.
Cassidy Thompson.
Cole Everett Grigsby.
David Morissette.
Kaylin Sabuti.
Brady Ellison Hill.
Cody Dangtongdi.
Christopher Cardenas.
Nicholas Kimball.
Jake DeBoer.
Shane Daniel Kent.
Bree Rodabaugh.
Sean Whalen.
Claire Kingston.
David Raul Brewer.
Catherine Mary Passwaters.
John Bradbury.
Ashley Lauren Spink.
Christian Matthew Quello.
Austin Roberts.
Adam Byers.
Jeffrey Ickes.
Garen Alexander.
Stephanie Muir.
Adam Christian Shires.
James Watts.
Mariah Rodriguez.
Cole Scruggs.
Curtis Jackie Yee.
Yash Mera.
Jonathan Scott Flora.
Thomas James Ruggles Jr.
Michael Lynch.
Alex Dunn.
Jared Mayer.
Nicholas Kennedy.
Aaron Betchart.
Luke Van Oss.
Janine Quintana.
Benjamin Sweedler.
Mark Patterson.
Jair Herrera.
Bruton Gaster.
Connor Murphy.
Danik Lugis.
Brandon Kelly.
Taylor Best.
Kenneth Duran.
Lizzie Wiley.
Logan Von Kregnes.
Nicholas Abweg Barriocha.
Christian Barreto.
Mike Barnum.
Chad Lago Marcino.
Quan Doan.
Vito William DeNovi.
Joshua Rivas.
Stephen Vong.
Fernando Diaz.
Richard Yang.
Caleb John Jordan Ostgard.
Chris Campos Flores.
Grant Holstein.
Callaghan Finnerty.
Brianna Renee Solorzano.
William Gilbreth.
Christopher Peterson.
Jason Sawatsky.
Tobin Lau.
Richard Young.
Courtney Chu.
Tyler McDonough.
Faith Chan.
Addison Narder Slezak.
Kyle Ringler.
Ryan Brown.
Vivian Ty.
Peter Pratt.
Caitlin Pellmeyer.
Hudson Albert.
Broder Hegeland.
Andrew Talley.
Neil Lehman.
Michael Bolton.
Colin Richardson.
Andrew Halsh.
Garrett Leone.
Ashlyn Frost.
Ali Burujerdi.
Alex Spady.
Connor Prindeville.
Andrea Flores.
Ryan Parker Greif.
Christina Lopez.
Jonathan Lewis.
Felipe Vallejo.
Keon Gruzensky.
Trevor Ergus.
Dominic Ricoboni.
Alex Maestri.
Krishna Polavalli.
Kushal Dalal.
Paul Berge.
Jason Sissom.
Nancy Lynn.
Anirudh Jain.
Lysandra Ilson.
Joseph Prakar.
Jennifer Colmenares Mendoza.
Mitchell Davis.
Grace Kuffner.
Gage Wilson.
Audrey Mono.
Luis Wong.
George DeGrandis.
Parker Wall.
Kellen Araki.
Nick Ford.
Jacob Grondland.
Nick Kane.
Japheth Cruz.
Daniel Potts.
Gustavo Guzman.
Silvana Mary Sammy Manasale.
Saran Maria Heredia.
Gerardo Cortez.
Usama Ahmad.
Katie Ann Miller.
Rebecca Villalobos.
Megan Jenkins.
Laura Hernandez.
Kinsey Ryan.
Sydney Groob.
Vanessa Alexandra Imani.
Thetnin Tyke.
Alexander Hurley.
Kendra Gilliland.
Ryan Srinivasan.
Michael Rasmussen.
Alexis Bergstrom.
Nathan Miracle.
Claudia Robinson.
Brendan Kotz.
Isabella Pereira.
Tyler Hogeland.
Justin LaRue.
Nicholas Ilog.
Kyle Vigil.
Alexander Kubatsky.
Colin MP.
Matea Cavagnaro.
Joshua Diaz.
Stephanie Lascola.
Mark Schefter.
Sarah DeRosier.
Jeffrey Brelsford.
Emily Armour.
Andrew McGuan.
Ryan Blair.
Sarah Billich.
Ellis DeVoe.
Ryan Meinhardt.
Brennan Balbido.
Keely Thompson.
Jonathan Cherovalil.
Samuel Porter.
Jacob Rickman.
Nicholas Boring.
Danielle Taylor.
Luke Letwin.
Nicolas Ponce.
Corey Harris.
Kyle Crooks.
Joseph Schnecker.
Matt Gherkin.
Matthew Columbres.
Trey Wilder.
Kaylee Cam.
Randy Yance.
Christopher Michael Harlow.
Dalton Wunderlich.
Jean-Christophe Shota Abubaid.
Patrick Cook.
Samir Javle.
Alex Lisso.
Alyssa Beth Chung.
Adam Lipshin.
Catherine Beatrice Edelman.
Daniel Sanchez.
Chase Cooper.
Giri Yu.
Matthew Payne.
Jacob Russo.
Jillian Keegan.
Angela Wong.
Michael Clement.
Andrew Zabralski.
Jacob Serpa.
Garrett Mealy.
Francisco Hernandez III.
Maggie Louise Castile.
Taylor Gator.
Sarah Helen Kay.
Gabriel Liam Keene.
James Von Rocket.
Sohail Bhupendra Bhakta.
Zachary Emard.
Matthew Burninghouse.
Elena Standish.
Robert Alexander.
Riley Ormiston.
Parker James Berman.
Andrew Savage.
Sidney Poyd.
Winton Goulding.
Kristen Danielle McFarland.
Grace Melgard.
Tyler Stansel Webb.
Haley Bond.
Douglas Noteware.
Ariel May Chrysostomo.
Eric Matthew Phillips.
Jessica Fordham.
Mark Williams.
Abby Nyland.
Gabriel Moroboto.
Briar Goldwyn.
Braden Saito.
Alana Burstein.
Dave Arndt.
Jolie Higgins.
Brian Hendricks.
Catherine Kraska.
Ronald Burgess.
Aaron Lee Moore.
Sarah Schaefer.
Jennifer Tuttle.
Brian McGuffin.
Katie Pepe.
Ethan Serpa.
Chandra Lynn Rogers.
Andrew Melrose.
Jeffrey Jae-sung Shim.
Hayden Raymond.
Connor Claus.
Dylan McFarland.
Maylin Rose Oxshano.
Laura Ann Jagels.
Christopher Tiran.
Clay Jacobs.
Alan Lactowen.
Nicholas Caprillion.
Ruben Rico Reyes.
Brett Whitmus.
Scott Kaufman.
Joseph Gross.
Carson Barand.
Matthew Brenholt.
Jennifer White.
Adam Zacconi.
Stephen Cheely.
Caroline Whalen.
Trunk Tree Nim.
Paige Reisman.
Anthony Lowe.
Wilson Fletcher.
Michael Timothy Jaya.
Julia Trenkle.
Yi Lan Trin.
Peter Strawbridge.
Niraj Cernaik.
Rocco Beauty.
Garvin Yee.
Alex Heikert.
John Chen.
Louis Theros.
Charles Din Kobashigawa.
John Kaufman.
Quang No.
Bryce Fauble.
Christopher Urena.
Caleb Barnett.
Brian Shino Balberchak.
Paul Song.
Stephen Liu.
Sung Ji Kim.
Rachel Chang.
Julia Ijima.
Justin Tayama Uchimura.
Nathan Martinez.
Kevin Lewis Wolfarth.
Connor Verlin Bay.
Seth Dominic Barrios.
Kevin Silken.
Jordan Sukikian.
Marianne Gabriel.
Nathan Bram.
Robert Straskowski.
Vivek Bhakta.
Nathan Alexander Elliott.
Andy Boniface.
Kyle Ko.
Connor Walker.
Nicholas Robert Jensen.
Andrew Bruce.
Val Federican.
Ariana Torres.
Sean McGaffigan.
Charles Vincent Gels.
Nicholas Koonsman.
Grant Forrester Warden.
Varsha Manjunath.
Janelle Lehman.
Will McGinnis.
Mitra Fakhri.
Haley Mallon.
Leah Fletcher.
Ann Shields.
Jacqueline Mata.
Krista McAllister.
Ying Yi Shi.
Ryan Mattel.
Royston Chan.
Chris Chen.
Alexa Keekly.
Kevin Gallagher.
Megan Piesinski.
Nick Werner.
Kimberly Tan.
Cole Tudor.
Aria Karnick.
Justin Michael Gorgeous.
Shruti Prasanna. Sonia Manan.
Dylan Michaela Leal Martin.
Joseph Reynaldi.
Katie Breitenstein.
Jake Bertolf.
Nico Rembert.
Glo Sewei Lu.
Cheyenne Marie DeMeo.
Elliot Stanley Kirk.
John Sandy Edwin Griffin.
Katya Panaghetti.
Aaron Arthur Herzog.
Haripriya Neelakantan.
Joseph Luston.
William Snyder.
Chris Armstrong.
Paul Studer.
Jacob Buchanan.
Kostin Purvu.
Kevin Daly Jones.
McKenna Johnstone.
Jake Smith.
Alex Boyd.
Nicholas Borgeson.
Yang Tan.
Kevin A. Waka.
Jesse J. Smith.
Alyssa Ralph.
Trevor Gussell.
Will Davis.
Albert Austin Liddycoat III.
Brandon Marshall.
Tristan Wastel.
Omar Kayan Khan.
Aaron Riley Clark.
Blake Ehlers.
Samuel Disler.
Alex Dowdy.
Casper Louis DeLance.
Jose Manuel Ramirez.
Rafael Paroli.
Ryan Lawrence.
Brenda Lopez.
Joshua Pfeffer.
Alexander Bolin.
Matthew Lee.
Ethan Phillip Harlig.
Ben Brooks Hartinger.
Noel Conalai.
Aloisio Costa Jr.
Connor Patrick Lawston.
Ryan Crosstag.
Dante Mazzanti.
Jeffrey Sweet.
Jeremy Mendoza.
Catherine Ruckert.
Donovan Feliz.
Connor Samuel Brown.
Liam Lefferts.
Brendan Waltman.
Nicholas Verhaeg.
Nina Yardlowski.
Samantha Donovan.
Luis Verastegui.
Brittany Ciari.
Thomas Lovelace.
Caroline Seifert.
James Whitney.
Philip Nordus.
Thomas Franklin.
Sam Rostovich.
Eric Burlingame.
Matthew Rudolph Loretta.
Sean Yan.
Garrett Watson.
Dennis Lee.
Joseph Boulos.
William Elliott.
Alvin Lau.
Eduardo Gallegos Ambris.
Jed Chen.
Matthew Leo Wambach.
Evan Harling.
Aaron Mandeville.
Calvin Chen.
Alex Johnson.
David Lim.
Evan Brooks.
Rachel Lee.
Yaroslav Kurakin.
Timothy Wong.
Vin Vu.
Melinda Yu.
Jonathan Shank.
Zachary Pond.
Andrew Tsao.
Nick Wilson.
Han Huang.
David Turkett.
Michael Chan.
Long Tan Wong.
Joshua Zimmerman.
Raymond Zhang.
Billy Gottenstrater III.
Sophia De Gia.
Ian Lang.
Jonathan Lowe.
James Schuerman.
Lisa Lee.
Bryce Loken Turnbull.
Matthew Lee.
Wyatt Hall.
Michael Lay.
Kinsey Prokopakis.
Valerie Boyer.
Nicholas Dallinson.
Tommy White.
Stephen Dalazotti.
Yoav Rosenberg.
Cassandra Fong.
Viviana Martinez.
Anna Santoro.
Monica Michelle Chavez Martinez.
Abby Rollier.
Lucy Zhao.
Andrew Pirandini.
Christopher Vance.
Tim Murphy.
Hayden Young.
Anna Kalinov.
Peyton Leeson.
Athena Aberesk.
Jacob Morrison.
Tori Baker.
Elisa Campo.
Alexander Ray Martin.
Gabriella Graham.
Eric Snyder.
Robert Allen Weber.
Kent Thomas Nakano.
Carter Van Duren.
Skylar Lee Schilke.
Andrew Rose.
Luke Monty Smith.
Trent Gerard.
Dane Nicholas Lowe.
Kevin Glass.
Colin Dutter.
Christian Arturo Ramirez.
Moulay Saladin.
Rodolfo Meave.
Clayton Alderson.
Joaquin Felix.
Sid Mosin.
Austin Rivera.
Omar Herrera Angles.
Alejandra Garcia Ipse.
Edwin Aquino.
Mitchell Myjack.
Dallas James Johnson.
Ben Whittle.
Devin Matthew Martin.
Joseph Arhar.
Ryan Bouquet.
Varun Iyengar.
Cole Twitchell.
Sean Slater.
Davis Negrete.
Kyle Adukas.
TJ Tamura.
Kevin Yang.
Luke Tusinya.
Joseph Alfredo.
Takuma Yunabayashi.
Michael Yip.
Kelly Nicole McGartland.
Emily Lim.
Bridget Carr.
Brian Aoyang.
Stephen Al-Salami.
Brianna Tran.
Jacob Brian Nogel.
Adam Petrella.
Luke Maley.
Brendan Abrams.
Brian Larson.
Augie Debling.
Lauren Ashley Pierce.
Michael Choi.
Shiv Sulkar.
Ian Fireman.
Katie Newt.
Gabriella Pasquale.
Cassie Hamilton.
Saloni Thanawala.
Megan Smith.
Ashley Newman.
Leah Garkey.
Sigal Shaul.
Katarina Drake.
Sonia Naranainen.
Kenny Oshima.
Michael Kailoto.
Quan Tran.
Joshua Jeter. Tyler Danielle Moore. Emily Marie Vallejos. Atticus Liu. Kyle Lonzak. Garvey Yasuda. Levi Aaron Beckwith. Jared Edward Amader. McIntyre Peak. Jordan Tang. Jordan Rayburn. Ashash Patel. Alexander Solberg. Johnny Daniel Rodriguez. Ramon Luis Crespo Gonzalez. Mauricio Rosales. And Daniel Armando Salmaron.
All right, let's hear it one more time for the class of 2018. We are so proud of you. The platform party will now be exiting. We ask that all graduates and guests remain in your seats until the platform party has exited the stadium. We wish you a healthy and safe celebration today, and our final congratulations as Academic Senate Chair Dustin Stegner removes the university mace. The 2017-2018 academic year at Cal Poly is officially concluded.
Hello everyone, it's Sylvia again. Thank you for attending Cal Poly's commencement ceremony. We ask that you please remain seated until the platform party and all the graduates have exited the stadium. For any guests with mobility impairments, please note that we have shuttles available for you and one companion. Shuttles will be located at the northwest entrance of the stadium.